Now, picture this. It's the year 1999 or 2000, I am not sure. You are a 5-year-old child and the major contact with the video game world has been that time you have played a soccer game on the SNES, a police station, which is basically an NES clone, and a game on the arcades called
Metal Slug!
We got also take in consideration that at the time, arcade machines were expensive to change and, well, to play, since these machines were designed to crave coins like a and most of the more well-provided arcades were only next to beaches to draw in all the boys in vacation during the more refreshed evening. So imagine what kind of repercussion I had on my mind when one day this 5-year-old monkey that at the time was thinking only about Super Robot beating the everlasting shit out of mooks and
Metal Slug!
the most amazing game ever conceived, that was and still is the Alpha and the Omega, the 2D masterpiece of the shoot 'em up genre. Imagine what happened when he decided to enter a small pizzeria next to his grandma's house and was greeted by this. It blew my mind. Actually, Tekken 3 blew everyone's mind back on its release in 1997. To put things in perspective, October 1997 saw the release of Mortal Kombat 4. Tekken 3 was released in March of the same year, and it looked and played miles better compared to it, thanks to a stellar presentation and a more accessible gameplay. You didn't need to know the move list, you could just pick a character, wiggle the stick around while you press on buttons, and you will be bouncing around, throwing punches and kicks in a matter of seconds. Although mastering the game was a completely different manner. But at the time, I didn't care of optimization or movement, not all the people who just love to toss a coin into an arcade machine to duke it out, or to flex some new combos on a friend that was more newbie. Now, add to this bombastic game one of the most sold console in history, aka the good old PlayStation 1, and an almost arcade-perfect release in 1998, and you got yourself a killer app. Tekken 3 sold more console and surely got pirated on even more than perhaps any other games on the system at the time, probably tied in with Final Fantasy VII, Crash, I honestly don't know. It pretty much became one of the icons of the video game pop culture of the 90s, thanks to his music and to characters like King, Jin, Heihachi, Yoshimitsu, Paul, Eddie, the Williams sisters. Alongside the classic arcade, Time Attack, Survival and Team Battle already present in Tekken 2, the third console installment could have some ace up its sleeve. Two new brand modes, the Tekken Force and the Tekken Ball, of which we are going to talk for a bit. Pick a character and just body anyone who stands in your way. It is an homage to games like Final Fight and Streets of Rage. The only weapon here is your body, the only item. The stages are relatively short and filled to the brim with the Tekken Force, the PMC of the Mishima Zaibatsu. At the end of the stage, you face one of the members of the cast, beat him and you proceed, get KO'd at any time and you will be sent back to the main menu. Now, while the enemy are not the most resilient, the lock-on system is, suffice to say, shit. Since the game movement is tough for one-on-one fights, now we add to this equation an extra enemy that often appears from behind, and you will get a fair amount of cheap shots. After beating Heihachi, you will get a key. Once you get 3, you unlock a secret boss, Dr. Bosconovi, who will spend half of his time crouched and the other half dying of back pain due to the lack of prescribed opioids in his daily diet. Beating him will unlock him as a playable character on other game mode. Time for something more akin to summer. A pretty simple concept. You, the CPU, or better, another player, duke it out in a match of volleyball. You hit the ball to send it over the enemy line to score some damage, or you can propel it right on his face with a well-placed hit. By hitting the ball, you build up a damage bar. The more hits you can place in a row, the higher it charges, and the moment the ball connects, all the energy stored gets released and you deal more damage. If the enemy is able to hit the ball back, you will not lose the energy stored, but now the ball will be aimed at you. Hitting it back at the right time will charge your bar even more. Basically, if both people constantly counter each other with the ball going back and forth, Tekken Ball will turn into a lethal league with Beachball. And speaking of balls, there are 3. The main difference comes in how much damage they do, from 60 to 100% of the total damage of the move used. Not all the attacks will give charge, however. Things like unblockables can hit the ball, but will not make you charge meter. So you can't just Burning Fist the ball and expect to nuke the other guy. You can, however, win by DEATHFisting your way into the ball, or you can DEATHFist your way into the enemy, or you can use Orbital Hill with Brian all day and night without worrying too much. There is no real balance actually. The joy from playing this mode, especially with someone, comes from finding how much bullshit you can get away with. If you were to play against the CPU, you will meet, and probably beat, Gon, unlocking one of the 4 horsemen of casual stomping. To conclude things, of the 2, I think the one worth several replays is the Tekken Ball. The mode is an enjoyable clusterfuck if you plan on playing it with friends, either on local or online with things like Parsec. And while the Tekken Force might be fun, once you unlock Doc, there is almost zero incentive to replay it, unless you are planning on tassing the game in every way possible, of course. And that should wrap it all. Thank you for watching, and until next time...